Okay. Always wanted to do that, so there's that. Hello, I'm Sam. I'm going to talk about integrations today, what I learned from them the previous year. I did make some as well, but I'm going to talk about how they work behind the scenes. So, well, let's kick it off. I don't have that much time, and I have a lot to tell, so. I have 6 chapters to talk about. Let's wait for them to load. And the first one is about data streams. Who ever heard about data streams here? Raise some hands. Oh, that's a lot of people. That's good. They've been around for 2 years, 3 years, I think, in general availability. And data streams are a concept that categorizes data in the agent before bringing it in Elastic. And we'll see how that looks like. I'll run over the chapters first. So we have agents as a second one. Third one is ingest pipelines. Fourth is templates. Then we'll see a bit about integrations, and then the Elastic package. All right, let's start with the first one. So I started working in the public sector about 2 years ago. And we had the challenge that we had a lot of indexes because we have a lot of customers, internal customers, and they could only see some of the data. So that means that customer A could see data from themselves and not from others. And the problem was the FileBeat template, it has a lot of fields in it. And all those indexes, they all have all the fields in them. And Elasticsearch became slower and slower. So we looked into the agent, and Elastic solved it in the agent by creating specialized indexes with less fields. And so that's where we started moving to. And they call it the data stream naming scheme. Looks like this. So you have a type, data stream data set, and a namespace. Some of you might have heard of it. Looks like this. So that's an example. We have logs Nginx access production, and this is what it looks like in a document. I only show the data stream fields here. This specific is for Nginx access, and here we have an example or the possibilities we can have in type, and that's logs, metrics, traces, synthetics. That's it. Second one is dataset. In this case, it's Nginx access. Nginx access is the access log of Nginx. So the data set specifies what kind of data there is, and that it does this so it can minimize the amount of fields it needs to map, right? The namespace is something you can configure yourself. Most of the times it's production development, and it will separate the index in Elastic. So if you add production, you will get a production index, development index. I'll show you in a bit. This is an example of a data stream. I put it in colors because the thing with data streams is, like I said, we categorize them in the beginning. So the document comes into the agent. These fields get added depending on the integration which picks the logging up. So in this case, it's the Nginx integration and the access dataset. And it goes to the index template. Index template, here we see the name. And if you add the wildcard, you get the, it will match the production part, the namespace. So namespace doesn't matter. This template will pick everything up. That's logs, nginx.access, and you can fill out whatever you want. Next, it goes to the ingest pipeline. Ingest pipeline processes the data, transforms it into something that Elastic can work with. We'll see a bit about that in a bit. And then we go to the data stream. In this case, this is the first part where production actually shows up and is used. So it creates a data stream and 2 backing indexes in this case. So it has rolled over one. If we go to development, I named it dev, it will create a new data stream and a new backing index. Let's talk a bit about agents. Here we have some Elastic agents, Nginx. We have a fleet server. We have Elasticsearch, Kibana. And it's important to know that the way this works is the policy is pushed and pulled via separate connection. And this is separate from the data that is sent to Elastic. And this is important to know because if you configure it, you have to, the more you know about it, the better you can configure it, right? So it's important to know that the policy does not use the same connection. We have ingest pipelines. Sorry, I'm going too fast here because, well, I only get 20 minutes, so. Okay, so ingest pipelines, they, like I said, they make sure the data is processed and parsed. That's the first step here. Parsed, so Elastic can actually work with it. And in this case, we parse syslog, and syslog is well, a standard, many standards actually. And we can grok it and put it into fields. Then we can do some stuff with those fields, like use it in defend or in security, for example. The second one is validate. So ingest pipeline also validates data before it's ingested, so you don't get data into the dead letter queue, but you get an error, and that data is not put into the event, right? And that way you get the error.message. It will inform you of an error with the ingest pipeline or with the source logging. Then the third one is ECS enrich. And what I mean by this, and that's, yeah, usually it's the set and the append processors. They will, for example, here we have the event action. It will fill event.action with the value depending on what, in this case, the message contains. So if the message contains session opened, oh yeah, that's someone logged on, right? Then it goes into event action, and then you can act on it, security most of the time. Append the same. We have a lot of related fields in the ECS, and they get filled in depending on, well, we have user one, we have IP one. So you only have to search one field for the IP. All the IPs of the event are in related.ip, for example. Really handy to search, but the top one is also important in defend, because lots of the rules in security, in the SIEM, they use the event fields. So if you don't do this in your ingest pipeline, you're missing out on some of the standard security stuff. Then the next one, we do GeoIP enriching. So we add a field with a location based on the IP. It uses a library in the back to look it up. Third one, and there's more, but well, I'm limited. This is a fun one. If you slide the event original toggle, I put it here. I put a screenshot here. If you slide it on or off, what it actually does is it configures the agent to add a tag, and that tag in the event is preserve original message. That tag in the event travels with the event in the ingest pipeline, and these processors will act on it. So if that is toggled on, then the remove will not work, and the event original will stay there, right? It's actually pretty simple. Important to know, we have the ingest pipelines that come with the integrations, when you install the integrations. And we have the default one that comes with the integrations. And if you create this one, the add custom one, you can put your own processors into it. They run in this order. So if you want to process something more in an integration, this is the way to do it. The second one doesn't get updated with the integration. It's just, it stays there, and you can, well, it gets added automatically in the pipeline. Templates. This is a harder topic than I expected. templates are blueprints that get matched. So when something gets written into Elastic, for example, logs Nginx access in this case, Elastic will take a blueprint from the index template with all the fields, all the types, and it will put them into the index. And in this case, the fields that are present in Nginx access will be put into the index. And the index templates, in turn, they are composed of component templates. And they get merged and then put into the index templates. And then they can be used. Let's go over them. We have the first ones. Those are 2 component templates. They are added to all integrations. So they contain mappings that all integrations need, like data stream, data set, data stream, those things. At timestamp is also one of them. They are in there. Logs at settings is one that will add ILM to the integration indexes. Second one is the mappings of the package, and then, like in the Ingest pipeline, the add custom one, you have to create this yourself. It will not be their standard. So if you need it, create it. It will be used. Then we have the ECS mapping component template. It's the total ECS scheme and all the mappings in there. They get mapped dynamically. So if the ECS field is not in the message or not in the event, it will not be mapped. So there's no overhead there. Next, we have these 2 .fleet. They will be deprecated, I think, soon. But they do some basic stuff like turn all strings into keywords, for example, of fields that are not mapped. And then we have an extra that will be coming in 8.17. And with this one, you can actually you create it. It is here in the component templates of all integrations. And that way, you can add mappings that will override the package mappings. So that way, you can customize them. The precedence, by the way, is bottom will override above. Right. On to integrations. What happens when we click in Kibana, when we click install? There's a lot of stuff happening in the background. Looks like this. Most people will have seen that. And actually what happens is Kibana will go to Elasticsearch and will read write to indexes, the fleet indexes. Some API calls happen. So the integration package in Kibana can contain dashboards, they can contain ingest pipelines, all of that stuff. It gets deployed by Kibana into Elasticsearch via API calls. And the thing that Kibana does and writes to the fleet indexes is mainly the Elastic agent configuration. So Fleet will pick it up from Elasticsearch. It will see, I need to configure these agents with this information, this input, and so on. And it will push the data to the right Elastic agent. And that way, the Elastic agent will configure itself, restart or reload. You have the integration installed on there. And that way, we get the data sent to Elasticsearch. And because the API calls already happened, the ingest pipeline, etc., will all be there to receive the data and process it. OK, let's see. How is the time? Oh, I'm talking really fast. OK. We have the Elastic package. And what the Elastic package does is it contains the integration. So it's the code the integrations exist out of. So let's see. These are the assets that can be in an integration. That's actually a lot of assets, right? You can put in machine learning stuff. You can put in security rules for your security dashboards. You can put all kinds of stuff in there. And the great thing is you can actually build them yourself. So if you go to the integrations repository, you check out packages, directory, and you go to Apache, you will see this. Well, it's all open source, now at least. And you will see this overview. Now, this is a lot of text, of course, but we have time, so I'm going to go over it. The first one is the manifest.yaml. This is the metadata of the package, so which version is it, the category, conditions to apply, etc. And then we have the data stream, and in this case, it's access, and the data stream contains the inputs for that data set. So this is the access data set, and you can actually change this if you fill in the stuff in Kibana. So that form you saw earlier, the input, you can put in your file here to monitor, and it will actually send it through this into your agent. So this is actually sort of template which you fill in Kibana, and that gets merged or merged, and it is sent to the agent. Let's see, anything interesting here? Yeah, the agent stream, the lowest one, stream.yaml.hbs, is actually a handlebar template, and that will be filled in with inputs from you in your Kibana integration policy. We have some more. We have the documentation. So the docs, the README docs, is what you see when you open the integration in Kibana, for example. So let's say you fill this all in, you change it to your liking. How do you install this thing, right? Well, there's this package. I didn't choose the name. It's Elastic Package, aptly named, and it can do a lot of stuff. It's a CLI tool, and you can actually build your package into an integration. You can then use it to push it to Elastic. It's mainly used for developing, but I've used it in production as well. Not sure if that's wise, but that's another case. And actually, what it does is it does a curl to Kibana, and it uploads the package, and that's it. Kibana just accepts it, validates it and stuff, and that's it. But this tool can do a lot more. It can add change logs to your integration, so you don't have to manually change things. It can build the integration. It can benchmark it. So the cool thing is it spins up an Elastic stack in Docker. It has sample. You can add sample logging to your integration before the integration and in Elastic. And then it puts the data into Elastic, into the Docker containers, into the integration, and it will see if data that comes out is the same as what it expects. And that's actually a great test for your integration, right? And what you can do is, in that Elastic stack, you can also create dashboards that you want to use with that integration. And with one command, you can actually export them out of your Docker Elastic cluster and then put them in your integration. And, well, it's interesting because we have customers that like to have their own custom logging. They don't really know that much about dashboards, but this way you can put everything into code. So you can put everything into Git, and then that way you can just push it from Git with the Elastic package into Elasticsearch. Pipelines, ingest pipelines, index templates, you name it. You put it into Git and you push it. And well, that helped us a lot because we used to do everything with Ansible, you know, the loop in the loop in the loop, right? And well, now it's just a package and you push it, and that's it. And someone can even say, hey, yeah, this is great, let's merge it, right? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, these are some of the advantages. We have one place to start configuration. It's pretty easy installation, in my opinion. It's future-proof because Elastic uses it himself to create the integrations. And you can end-to-end test these things. And when there's advantages, there's obviously disadvantages. You have to keep up with Elastic. Elastic changes things, right? We all know this. They go at a real quick pace. And you have to keep up with the index templates they add, for example, the logs at custom and that stuff. So you have to update your integrations as well. Learning new technology is always a burden bit. So yeah, not everyone knows ingest pipelines or the structure of the integration, but it's not that difficult, I think. But you have to learn it. And well, there's not many people who know it for now. So that's, well, if you're on the job and you're leaving, the other person has to pick it up, right? These are some links that you can use to build your own integrations. The first one is actually a guide, it's pretty nice. The other one is all the integrations that you have in Kibana. You can actually find the code for in the second one. The third one is Elastic Package itself to install. And the fourth one is the package registry. And you're supposed to build your own if you have air-gapped environment. And then, upload your package to the registry. And it should be available. But I haven't tried it myself, disclaimer. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening.